morning, race fans, and welcome back to the Metro Ford Cup Series here at the Old Bastards Racing League. Today, we find ourselves at the Summer Road Course, Sonoma Raceway. Wine Country, 2 miles, a lot of elevation changes. It's going to be a whole lot of excitement. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As right now, drivers out on track for qualifying for their 2 laps and 10-minute run. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Always great having our friends and sponsors supporting the league. eMetro4.com. If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, check them out. eMetro4.com. They will get you financed. Victory Lane Sports coming on as a title sponsor this season, as well as our friends over at Kimball.net. And how could we not mention Dr. Amy, the thyroid fixer? She came on board late in the season as a title sponsor as well. Greatly appreciate her help. Make sure you check out the description here on YouTube. It's got links to those sponsors, how you can support those that support us, and keep things going on a Sunday morning. As always, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as the drivers will definitely notice and appreciate it. Let's see, we're watching Andrew Hess and the number 54 Chevrolet make his way around. Now Watts in the 84 machine currently on pole with a 1:17.54. He knew he was going to be fast today. You've also got Dwayne MacArthur out on track as well. There's some still fast guys out there. MacArthur quickly climbs up the leaderboard, showing third out on track with a 1:18.69. Andrew Hess climbs up to 5th place in the 54. Who else is out on track? Lee Warsdale, Chris Clark, John Hastings have yet to go out on track for their qualifying run. Looks to be about 15 drivers who have registered for today's main event. As we check in on MacArthur, the fast Canadian, the 83 machine. Now, the drivers before tonight's main event, today's main event, I should say, it's still very early on, are saying the car seemed a lot more manageable with the week 13 update for these machines, a new crash model as well on the Next Gen Cup cars. So if, and I think when, we see some big incidents, you may see something spectacular happen with these machines, a little bit more likely to have some pieces fall off with the update coming out. Hess improves, moving up to third, so it's Watts, MacArthur, Hess, your top 3. And Hess, hearing the broadcast, decides to wad up the 54, and a great example of what it looks like when things get a little bit awry on some of these race machines. So I think that's going to lock us up here for qualifying in Sonoma. And let's get ready to run to today's main event and get things started here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. We've got 50 laps and a whole lot of action for our race fans. Wait for the drivers to make their way out onto the grid. It's going to be a rolling start for this one. Michael Watts sits on pole in the number 84 machine. Dwayne MacArthur starting second in the 83. Andrew Hess starting third. Daryl Winninger starts fourth. Ann Hill starting fifth. John Hinchcliffe starting sixth. Eddie Jones starts seventh. Greg McDaniel starting eighth. Got Steve Thompson starting ninth. Dean Gear starting 10th. Robert Garisco starting 11th. Lloyd Moore starts 12th. Then there's also Lee Warsdale starting 13th. John Hastings starting 14th. And Chris Clark rounding out the 15 entries here today. We've got Ogle tuning in today as he's out on vacation. Always good seeing him. Supporting the broadcast. Now, something a little bit different tonight. More incident points available to these drivers. They have 17 compared to the normal 7 that they have on oval rounds. They also have a fast repair in the back pocket. In case they do find themselves with a prematurely worn out machine, they can get back to pit road either through their own power or a tow. Take that fast repair, that get out of jail free card, and get right back out on track. Still waiting for a couple drivers. I believe we're waiting on Hastings in the 32 machine to make his way out onto the grid. Watts is going to lead the field around behind our iRacing safety car. Not sure what we're going to see here. It's a smaller field than normal. In the middle of the summer, a road course with some guys opting not to come out. A few drivers I've talked to are out on vacation. So I'm not sure how white knuckle this could be here. I am still expecting more than our fair share of single car incidents, but I don't think we're going to see the full course caution come out at all this evening. I think we're going to run all 50 laps out through and through. Pace car is in. It's going to be Watts and MacArthur on the front row to set the stage here at Sonoma. And let's go racing here at the Metro Ford Cup Series. Watts is going to lead the field charging up, and MacArthur's going to be in hot pursuit right behind him. Winninger looks to be making a pass on Andrew Hess in the 54. Drivers tentatively working their way around the track here, and oh no, there goes Watts. What happened to Watts? He looked like he had it. And just got a little bit loose, and off track he goes, so that's going to give Dwayne MacArthur the race lead, because I think Watts is stuck there. Watts able to get back out on track after 24 seconds, but he's going to have a long climb back up towards the top. A little bit further back, I think that was Steve Thompson and Dan Hill side by side. Hill holding on to the 5th place spot. Thompson's up 3 positions early on. I was expecting a little bit of excitement, but that's not exactly what I was thinking was going to happen with Watts having that big moment on the opening lap. Lee Warsdale also with an off-track adventure in the 99. Able to get it gathered up. That's Chris Clark in front of him, kind of tiptoeing around the racetrack. Oh, Warsdale's got more problems. But now the question is, will we see Michael Watts work his way back up towards the front after that big incident? Qualified on pole, now finds himself way back in 13th, 24 seconds back from Dwayne MacArthur, your race leader. Anything can happen here on a Sunday morning. We watch Winninger, the number 15 machine, try and reel in MacArthur's 83 machine. It's MacArthur, Winninger, Hess going 1, 2, 3. Draw off-track excursions pretty much everywhere. Hinchcliffe has a couple off-tracks as well. I think some of the guys really struggling to hold on to it. That's going to put Dan Hill's number 10 machine in striking positions of the 50th. Hinchcliffe, MacArthur, Winninger, Hess start clicking off some fast lap times, getting down to the 118s, the high 118s here. Like Hinchcliffe had to really check up to avoid pushing off track in the 50 machine. And here, look at this, Dan Hill trying to make a move to work that number 10 machine up into the 4th place spot. Side by side with Hinchcliffe. It looks like Hill will facilitate that pass nice and easy. Chris Clark has an off-track adventure in the number 91 Ford. Uh-oh. Looks like a drift car. Look at the front left, all... I think that's cambered out. I believe that's the right turn, not towed out. So had some sort of incident just ever so slightly. That's the new damage model in play. And look at this, Michael Watts, after the off-track excursion, clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 118.57. Now, if Watts can somehow work his way up inside the top 5, this will be so extremely impressive. As he slices his way through Lloyd Moore. Checking back in on Eddie Jones. He's riding around in 7th. He's got Greg McDaniel about a half second off the back of that number 14 machine. And Steve the Mule Thompson is 67, just about 3/4 of a second ahead now. Eddie, I'm not sure if he turned any practice laps. He's been very busy with his golf game, specifically his short game. And he's going to try and get up there maybe cold seat time and just see what he can do. Lee Warsdale leads pit road after just about 2.5 minutes in his pit stall. I wonder if Warsdale was maybe saving that fast repair for later on. Chris Clark also coming down pit road. We do some updates from the spectators here tonight. The curbing really tough on these next-gen Cup cars. As looks like just ahead, Thompson trying to make a move on Hinchcliffe. Now Thompson's up 3 spots already tonight. Dan Hill just clicked off a 117 though, the fastest lap of the race. That number 10 machine feeling a little bit more comfortable as this run progresses. Fuel window's going to open up at about lap 25. Going to close around lap 32 here. Now Michael Watts has answered with the fastest lap, 1:17.69. And man, unless Watts has worked his way back inside the top 10, which is impressive in its own right. But I think if he wants to continue to charge up towards the front, he's going to have to hope for a little bit of misfortune from his competitors. Let's check in with the race leader, Dwayne MacArthur. He's got Daryl Winninger just about a second back. Last time by, MacArthur was about 2/10 faster than that number 15 machine. Let's see, it looks like Winter able to close the gap. MacArthur gets a little bit better drive there, but now it's down to 8/10 between your race leader and runner-up, Daryl Winter. Andrew Hess still sitting in third. And look at this, Michael Watts last time by, a 1:16.88. Absolutely ripping it here. As MacArthur continues to stretch that gap ever so slightly. Let's check back in on Watts in that 84. He's about 10 seconds back from his closest competition. But we got something going on here. Steve Thompson has an off-track excursion that allows Eddie Jones, Greg McDaniel to move up into the 6th and 7th place spot. Boyd Moore has a moment. I believe he probably spun the rear around there. Let's take a look and see what happened to our friend in the 26 machine. Car looks relatively settled, and around she goes. It's not enough on those rear wheels. Wayne MacArthur can see Winninger in his rear view mirror coming through the smoke from just a few moments ago. Moore who moved it out there. We're getting reports that Steve Thompson's incident. We had a report that Eddie Jones must have spun him around, but that wasn't exactly the case for Thompson. Looks like he lost the rear end as well. A common thing we're seeing so far tonight. And look at this. We might have a battle for the lead shaping up. Winninger has caught the tail end of that 83 machine. And man, as Ogle said in the spectator area, the curbing extremely rough on these guys. MacArthur able to stretch that advantage back to his favor, kind of in the back half of the raceway here. It seems like in the tighter section is where Winninger is able to close that gap up. Let's see what's going to happen here, because this is where Winninger has been very, very strong. And now MacArthur's going to have a little bit of traffic to contend with. That is the 91 of Chris Clark. It's going to help facilitate the pass for the leaders, but that is a massive advantage for Winninger. And now Hess may join the fray as well inside the top three. As they continue rocking and rolling through turn 4. That's MacArthur, Wininger, Hess running 1, 2, 3. But this is the section of the track that MacArthur's very strong at, able to pull that advantage back to his favor. It looks like Dan Hill trying to latch on to the top 3 drivers as well. This is going to be interesting, as Wininger very strong on the brakes there. This could still be exciting as they cross the line. About 1 point, that's about 2 seconds separating MacArthur from 4th place driver Dan Hill. Once again, MacArthur pulls about an 8-10 advantage over Wininger as they make their way around the back half of the raceway. Hess still keeping Wininger within striking distance as well, as Hill has fallen back slightly. Well, here comes Hess. He's looking like he wants to pressure that number 15 machine for the 2nd place spot. MacArthur clicks off his fastest lap of the race, a 1:18 flat. The fastest time, though, still belongs to Michael Watts in the number 84 machine. He's whittled it all the way down to a very low 1:17. Let's check in with Watts, who is just about to be in a battle with Steve Thompson for the 7th place spot. Charging up the hills here at Sonoma. Look at that, Watts looks to the inside line, he gets into Thompson. And let's take another look at that one, as it looks like Thompson takes a tow back to pit road. Try and see what exactly happens here. Watts looks to the inside line. And then contact is made between the two. What a beautiful shot, but unfortunately for Thompson, I think he's done it out for the night. Going back to pit road. Michael Watts has come down pit road on lap 12. I wonder if he's serving a self-imposed penalty there. Yeah, so Watts doing a drive-through after the contact with Thompson. And still, the top 4 drivers very close to each other here. Going to be interested if any of these guys are able to make a move under green flag racing, or if they're going to maybe try and pick up some spots on pit strategy. I thought I saw a lapped car just ahead of MacArthur. Ooh, MacArthur using all of the curbing. Violently throwing the left side of that 83 machine into it. I think that's going to be Warsdale. And the 99 just ahead of this lead pack. Look how fast MacArthur is down the hills and the flowing sections of this latter half of the track. That's where he's been gaining all of his time. Very, very comfortable. And then again, watch Winninger, who's been able to close the gap rather rapidly on the brakes. Warsdale goes wide to allow the race leaders by through the final corner. Well done. Still MacArthur, Winninger, Hess, Hill, your top four. Not sure what the first strike's going to be, if it's going to be Winninger against MacArthur, or maybe Hess isn't going to have the patience, and he's going to try and work that 54 up into second. All these drivers running almost identical lap times. Hess running about 6/10 back from Winninger. All these top drivers clicking off mid 118s at this point, so not really facing tire wear too much, and very impressed with Dan Hill as well. Guys just letting the motors scream. That's still about 10 laps till we think the fuel window is open for these guys. I would imagine we're going to see with these four drivers 4 different strategies on what lap they decide to come down. It looks like very, very tough to try and make any moves when you're so similarly paced. Now, I believe generally on road courses, from what I've seen, if you think you have a faster pace, you want to try and come in before the driver in front of you. You get that clean track and smooth sailing once you're out of pit road. As it stands, it doesn't look like the tire wear is a big as factor as I would have thought it would be here in Sonoma. Now, I'll be curious to see towards the end of the fuel run what the lap times are looking like, but right now, it looks like the traction's still there, the relative amount of traction, I should say. I mean, these Cup cars are a little bit tough to make your way around on. Watts has come down pit road again. He came in earlier for a drive-through, and let's see if he actually gets service to this point. As there's Robert Garisco taking an alternative line through the grass. Grass is a strong word here in California. The artist formerly known as grass is what we're going to call it. And here comes Andrew Hess, looking like he's ready to challenge as MacArthur and Winninger all bunched up here inside the top 3. Winninger throws it in deep on the brakes. Now Dan Hill's joined the party. Fantastic racing amongst these 4. Nice and clean, no big moments yet. John Hinchcliffe comes down pit road, one of our second drivers to come in for servicing. Michael Watts, he came in a lap 15. Looks like he just took fuel here. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out on the long run. To watch the lead, 4 cars, MacArthur, Winninger, Hess. Nice and tidy. They're about 18 seconds up from Eddie Jones, riding around in 5th, to let you know how much of a gap these 4 drivers have been able to pull here. Now, as I think Winninger has a bit of pressure from Hess, that's going to allow MacArthur the smallest bit of breakaway. Andrew Hess in the 54 machine always has extremely interesting, is what we're going to call it, pit strategies. I'm not sure if he's got some weird napkin math going on in every one of his races, or just try something at will every Sunday morning, but sometimes it works out very well for the 54 machine, and sometimes it's the worst call you could possibly make as far as strategy, but he's always willing to risk it a little bit, switch things up. Knows he's in hot pursuit. Again, I think some of these drivers are going to go for a bit of an undercut if they think they have more pace than the drivers in front of them here. They're all so equally matched on speed. It's just all about having that clean track in front of you. Hess was very close to the track limits there on the left side. Able to hold on to it, keeping Winninger within striking distance. They pulled about 1.7 seconds up over Dan Hill and fourth. Now the top 3 are going to have a bit of a breakaway. MacArthur continues to charge out front. Opting to stay out though. MacArthur, Winninger, Hess have pulled quite a gap over Dan Hill, who's now 4th, but thankfully for Hill, he's about 18 seconds away from his closest competition from behind. We got 9 drivers still out on track, on the lead lap. And it looks about 13 out of our 14 drivers that entered still out there rolling around. John Hastings at 32 with a did not start here today. And once again, MacArthur's going to have a little bit of traffic to contend with. That could go well for Winninger. It could go very, very poorly. Just depends a little bit on luck here. And Andrew Hess going to take this opportunity. He's going to be the first driver out of these top 3 to come down pit road. So Hess in the 54 coming in on lap 20. That may be the undercut we were talking about. So now it's going to be MacArthur and Winninger in the top 2, separated by about 0.7 of a second, charging up the hill. How is this traffic going to play a factor? It's Robert Garisco in the 28. This is where Winninger has been historically able to gain some time on that 83 machine. Now, if MacArthur can't carry his usual pace in the back half, that may allow Winninger a chance to try and stick a nose in. Oh, Robert Garisco off track right in front of the race leaders. And almost got exciting. Winninger right there with MacArthur. Both drivers opt to stay out a little while longer. Not coming down pit road yet. Dan Hill also in pit road. With that pit stop, that puts Andrew Hess about 36 seconds behind these top 2 drivers. He took 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas on that one. Now, besides MacArthur and Winninger, the field very stretched out. Most drivers have 2 to 3 seconds between them here, as Winninger has 34 seconds ahead of Andrew Hess. But look at this. No, they're going to come in together. MacArthur and Winninger down pit road. How is this going to shape up? Where will Andrew Hess be by the time this pit stop's all said and done? Did Hess have the right strategy? Will he come out on track or be out on track ahead of MacArthur and Winninger? We wait for MacArthur to see and Winninger the right sides get lifted up in the air. Left side's up in the air. And I think I saw Andrew Hess in the background. How's this going to pan out? It's going to be Hess as your race leader, going for the undercut, and did it perfectly. So Hess is going to be just shy of 2 seconds ahead of MacArthur out on track. Dan Hill's moved up into 3rd. And Winninger gets the short end of the stick. He's going to be 4th out on track. So I am very impressed with the move out of Hess, because that has allowed him to pull a 3-second gap onto MacArthur. MacArthur now has a whole lot of company from Dan Hill, sporting the number 10 Chevrolet sponsored by MXPX. So We were just talking about in the broadcast how Hess either has spectacularly good or spectacularly not so good pit strategies. And this may be falling into the camp of good pit strategies. I think MacArthur's going to have his hands full here from Hill. He'll stand right there with him as well. Winters dropped back to about 2.4 seconds from your race leader. Now I'm looking here, I don't think that Hess has picked up a win so far this season. He has not. Hess in the 54 has gotten 3 second place finishes. The season opener at Daytona, as recently as Kansas and Darlington. So Hess may be able to pick up the first win of this season if things could go his way. Now we don't want to hit him with the old commentator's curse, so we'll not say too many great things here, but that would be spectacular if he's able to make that happen. Now last season, Hess was able to pick up about 4 different wins. And what do you know? His last win, all the way back June 6, 2021, a year and 6 days ago, he also picked up the win at Sonoma. That 54 machine may have something dialed in here. We check back in with your race leader, Andrew Hess, just clicking off laps here. 25 to go here at Sonoma at the halfway mark. The Hess gasoline back 54 Chevrolet looking fantastic as always. McDaniel in pit road for his one and only planned stop of the evening. Look at Dan Hill getting a little bit sideways there. Hess working his way through traffic. That's Robert Garisco out there just holding on to it for dear life in the 28 machine. He's riding around in 11th in the Ford Mustang. Hess going to try and make quick work of traffic wherever he can. Hold on to that 2.4 second advantage he has over MacArthur. MacArthur stretched his gap to about 1.2 over Dan Hill. But how will the traffic play into Hess's goal of back-to-back wins here at Sonoma? So far, I'd say pretty good. I think that was Chris Clark hopping out of the way. Oh, listening to MacArthur crunch over those curbs. Absolute violence. We're going to try and get an onboard for MacArthur next time he makes his way through there. Just hammering the car, trying to extend those track limits as far as he possibly can. Now I'd say with 24 laps, a 2.2 second disadvantage, MacArthur still has time to try and make something happen here, but with how extremely close. I mean, last time by, Hess and MacArthur, 0.04 of a second off as far as lap times. Now that time by, MacArthur was about 4/10 faster than Hess. I wonder if that could be both drivers having to face different different levels of traffic, or where they face that traffic out on track. Very tough on a road course. If you pull up on somebody, actually hold on 1 second. There you go, there's the bumping and grind as we're on board focusing on Dwayne MacArthur. Listening to the suspension, I'm gonna call that working and not crunching, but very violent transition here. And MacArthur has closed the gap to 1.7 seconds to Andrew Hess. MacArthur finding some pace here, closing the gap rather quickly. Now 1.4 seconds between your race leader Hess and second place MacArthur. And that was MacArthur's fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.45. But feeling very comfortable as this race progresses, able to find a little bit more time lap after lap. I wonder if MacArthur's worried at all about any sort of suspension damage using that curbing. Trying to get a good angle of that one next time. I think I've got the perfect shot for you all. That queued up here in the production booth, but there's got to only be so many times you can hammer it off that curbing and not fear any damage. The gap still 1.25 seconds, but keep an eye on Michael Watson, fifth. Just clicked off a 1:16.47. Now, very interesting. We don't think Watts took 4 tires on his lap 15 stop. He's maybe on a 2-tire strategy, which would be pretty wild. I would imagine he just splashed off and got back out there. The Watson at 84 qualified on pole, able to salvage the evening, all things considered. The story of the night, will Andrew Hess make it back-to-back wins 1 year later at Sonoma? Or is Dwayne MacArthur, the fast Canadian, going to have something to say about that one? Drivers making their way up the hill. Hess still 1.2 seconds ahead. Here may be the camera angle of the night. We wait for Hess to dive down the hill. No, MacArthur, oh, much less aggressive. There's Dan Hill. Almost having a massive moment there as Winninger makes his way around as well. So I think MacArthur a little bit faster, not bouncing that thing off the curbing. Laps left to go. MacArthur's closed the gap to less than a second here. how's this gonna pan out? Hess came in a lap 20, MacArthur lap 22. And once again, back to using all the curbing and then some. MacArthur looks to the inside line, gets it a little bit loose, not able to make it happen here. That's going to give another chance for Hess to do that charge now 1.2 seconds when it was just a fender. This is a good sign that we've still got a lot of racing here with 18 laps left to go of the Metro Ford Cup Series. Now, I think this is why we saw Hess come in just a little bit earlier, wanting that track position, knowing it's just so tough for anybody to make any moves here if you maintain your line and kind of hold on to that spot. MacArthur has to whittle down the gap once more. He's got it to about 9/10 in the final corner here at Sonoma. This is where he made that last lap effort to try and make a move on Hess, but not quite able to get the power down. Able to hold on to it though, narrowly avoiding sending the back in that 83 machine pirouetting around. MacArthur's closed the gap to a half second to the 54-year race leader. Hess is up 2 spots from where he started. MacArthur qualified second, and there he will sit for a little while longer. But to me, it looks just so incredibly tough for any of these drivers to make any big moves here. The lap times are still right there where they've been since the beginning. Last time by, both drivers low 117, or excuse me, high 117s. And now it's like it's MacArthur's turn to try and make some moves on the tight uphill, downhill section. Historically, he's been faster in the back half of the racetrack where Hess has been quick here, but I think MacArthur's had enough laps to try and get things figured out, but keep in mind this curbing. No, MacArthur much more tentative through there, trying to keep it from bouncing around. MacArthur looks to the inside line, not able to make it happen. That's the same spot we saw the contact between Watts and Thompson in the opening part of the race. Now, I was curious to see if these guys were going to slow down the pace too much, battling back and forth, but Dan Hill still sits about 4.5 seconds back from this battle for the lead. not sure where would be the best spot for MacArthur to try and make a move here. MacArthur takes a peek once more the inside line. The 54, Hess defends. Looked like MacArthur's trying to go for a high-low maneuver, but maybe didn't get the power down quite like he wanted. Yeah, Ogle asking the spectator, he wonders if the tire wear, the tire difference will make much of a matter, but oh, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Watts has worked his way back up to P3. Watts, your pole setter, had the lap 1 off-track excursion, is now back in podium contention. Now, wouldn't that be a story if somehow Watts is able to close the gap and challenge for the lead with Hess and MacArthur? Now I would say Hess and MacArthur do have to be extremely careful not to slow down the pace too much, racing with each other, because I think Watts is going to do whatever he can to close that 5-second gap as rapidly as he can. Last time by, Watts was about anywhere between 2 to 4 tenths faster than these top 2 drivers. This is going to be very interesting. I think Hess and MacArthur don't really know that's on the radar yet. As you can barely see Watts on the corner of your screen trying to close that gap. He's already gained about a second here late in the race. Just about down to a 4-second disadvantage for Michael Watts in that 84 machine. Separating Hess and MacArthur as they cross the line. The lap time's just about identical here. But behind them, Michael Watts was almost 2 seconds faster. Clipped off a 116.6 compared to the 118.5s of Hess and MacArthur. The number 84 machine is screaming behind to try and catch up. You can see him in the top right corner of your screen. Oh, MacArthur has a big moment there in the 83. That's going to allow Watts a chance to close the gap. Here comes Watts in the 84 machine, now just 1.3, 1.4 seconds back from the fast Canadian. We are about to have a 3-car battle up front as Watts has closed the gap now to 2 seconds to Andrew Hess, your race leader. Watts had the off-track excursion in the opening lap, a self-imposed drive-through penalty, has worked his way all the way back to 3rd, and is having Dwayne MacArthur getting closer to striking distance. First in the targets of Michael Watts is Dwayne MacArthur in the 83 machine. Both drivers drilling the curbing here. Now Watts came in on lap 15 for his very quick pit stop. Will he be good on fuel? Andrew Hess, your race leader, has a bit of a breakaway as I think MacArthur may be a bit preoccupied with that 84. And Watts takes over the second place spot from MacArthur. From hero to zero to hero again. Now it's about a 1.9 second advantage that Hess holds over that 84 machine. As much as we're cheering for Andrew Hess to get his back-to-back season Sonoma wins, the story of Michael Watts is absolutely spectacular out here. He can see the 54 just ahead of him, the bright green 54 of Andrew Hess, a second ahead as they head through the curbs. Watts closes the gap to 3/4 of a second. It's going to be 10 to go this time by. And the number 84 Ford Mustang just ripping it here at Sonoma. Hess knows he's got to get on the gas to keep that 84 machine behind him. Hess will have a little bit of traffic to contend with as Watts continues to stalk that 54 machine, carrying so much speed there. So that's going to be Garisco in the 28 ahead of your race leaders. He's currently 11th out on track. Oh, Hess squeezes by. Watts having to check up just about the same amount, but staying right on the tail of the 54. Now it looks like Watts going for the slow in, fast out approach here, while Hess just throws it in deep. When we started today's main event, I was not expecting things to be so close up front towards the end, and these guys are doing a fantastic job. The gap now 3/10 between Hess and Watts. They've pulled about a 3.2 second gap over MacArthur. Now Watts not afraid to throw it in deep, get that nose in there, let the other driver know he's a part of the equation. But I think Andrew Hess knows right now as he's driving the wheels off the 54. That last time by, Watts showed is about 2/10 faster than Hess. Both drivers in the 117 mark. Dan Hill riding around in fourth, clicked off his personal best of 117.3. Oh, Hess got a little bit loose there. Watts had to check up as well to avoid getting in the back of him. Watts stepping out the back into the 84, showing the audience here how hard these guys are driving it. And again, we don't think Watts took tires so far here tonight. We think he just took fuel. And so far, things have been going extremely well for the 84 machine. Let's see what the lap time show this time by. Hess with a 1:17.36, his fastest lap of the race. Watts a 1:17.71. So Hess finding some pace, finding some momentum late into the run. Watts trying to stay tucked into the draft in the 54 to find every 100th of a second he possibly can. I wonder if, I think Watts is losing a little bit of time there over the curb and getting the car unsettled. Hess runs a little bit tighter line. What happened? Daryl Winninger has moved up to third, passing both Dan Hill and Dwayne MacArthur. We've got racing all across the track as we briefly hinted at 3 wide. That was Chris Clark, Andrew Hess, Michael Watts. Not exactly a moment you want to find yourself in here in wine country. Six laps left to go as Hess and Watts maintain just 3/10 between each other. Oh, Hess gets a little bit loose there, struggles to keep the power down. Giving Watts another slight advantage. Man, absolutely just hammering the curbing here. To watch Watts and Hess, there's 2 different lines here through the corner. Oh, Watts did a much better job not overextending himself, keeping the momentum forward, and most importantly, those tires planning to put the power down. There's the 26 machine of Lloyd Moore, holding a wide berth to let those top 2 guys through relatively quick. And Hess and Watts have just put on a clinic. They pulled about a 7-second gap over Daryl Winninger in third. And the fact that we're even talking about Michael Watts right now, absolutely astounding. Again, he had that lap 1 off-track excursion. He had a self-imposed drive-through coming around lap 10 or 11. And was at the very back of the field, has worked his way all the way up into second, now continuing the charge. Now, we had a good question, is Watts maybe feeling the effects of dirty air? And tough to say. I think maybe more so than dirty air, it's just so incredibly tough to make any clean passes here at Sonoma without sticking the nose in. As we say that, Watts trying to get Hess off of his game. Showed him the front wheel of the 84, but Hess, no stranger to that, maintains the line and pulls a 6/10 gap over Watts. Not a lot of time left. Is Watts maybe waiting till the white flag lap to try and make a move on Hess? So Hess won't have any opportunity to fire back. It's a tough line there. If you wait too late, kind of blow that shot, that's it. That's your race. But if you make that move a little prematurely, that's going to allow the other driver a chance to strike back. So is Watts maybe waiting for the right time, or is he giving it all he's got behind Hess? You can see both drivers getting a little bit loose as that rear suspension unloads on that, where they kind of G-force down the hill. Still Watts right there with Hess tucking in behind him. Using a bit of a draft off that 54, but got to be careful here, especially on road courses. Just a few miles an hour difference to what you're used to going into a corner could be enough to get offline and have quite the incident. And look how much slip angle Hess is carrying around that section as well, at the ragged edge of traction. Three laps left to go here at Sonoma. It's still Hess and Watts, your top two. Darrell Winninger holds on to third by about a second. But Winninger, let's call it about 7 seconds flat behind these top two, are just in a league of their own here this evening. What are we going to see here from these top two drivers? Hess wanting to make it back-to-back wins here at Sonoma. Watts wanting the comeback story of the night. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think if Watts, he's got to be careful where he throws the nose of that 84. He already got that one drive-through penalty of the night. Got to be careful here not to maybe get a DQ somehow, some way. Not a lot of room as sparks kick off of Watts hammering the curbing. That has been a major factor that I'm surprised we haven't seen more damage out of these cars. With how aggressively they've just been bouncing them off here. I would like to take a moment to appreciate just how good these two drivers' cars look here at Sonoma. Very clean. Hess guarding the inside line. White flag will be out this time by and Hess still holding on to it by about a quarter of a second. Watts in hot pursuit. If Watts is going to try and make a move, this has got to be it. Nice tight camera angle really lets you see how much elevation there is here at Sonoma. As the cars twist around, Watts once again taking the extended route over the curbing. Every time he does that though, Hess able to gain maybe a tenth or two. There's gonna be a little bit of traffic ahead. I think that's Eddie Jones, number 14 machine, the last driver on the lead lap as he sits in 7th. Will the battle for the lead catch up to him? Or will they be able to make it till the end here? 3/10 of a lap left to go. Hess trying to hold on to it. Watts looking for any opening in the 84. Takes a peek the inside line, not able to get the drive. Hess can be very defensive. Watts is gonna go for a high-low maneuver as Hess guards the apron. Checkered flag is out. Watts throws it away there, loses the rear end. And it's gonna be Andrew Hess making it back-to-back wins here at Sonoma. Michael Watts, a hard-fought and valiant effort for second. And it looks like it's going to be Darrell Winninger bringing home the 3rd place spot. That was exciting. That's also Darrell Winninger's first time podium here for the Metro Ford Cup Series. So Hess going to come around on that victory lap, take a picture on the start and finish line straight. Accompanied by Michael Watts, and we're going to wait for Daryl Winninger to pull up to the line as well. And what great racing amongst these three. Andrew Hess, Michael Watts, a nail biter. The last 15 laps or so, anybody's guess who's going to pick up the win there, but Andrew Hess, he's got to be pumped right now in the 54 machine. Back-to-back seasonal wins here at Sonoma and feeling absolutely fantastic about it. Let's see what type of victory burnout we can get for him. As Watts and Winninger pull away. There we go. That's going to burn it down for us here in the tight start-finish line stretch of Sonoma. I think Watts having his own victory moment as well. So we're going to try and get these top three drivers up here into victory lane. Give us a little bit of a talk and up first, we're going to get Daryl Winninger, first-time podium finisher here for the Cup Series. Daryl, welcome. A lot of fun, and looks like we found your strengths in road course racing, my friend.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was a good race. I had a good practice on Friday night and took advantage of a little bit of racing in front of me there at the end. So
Now, Daryl, I mean, it looks like tire wear, maybe not the big factor we thought we were going to see here at Sonoma. Were you pretty happy with the wear and the filling over the car over the run, or were you pretty happy to throw on 4 fresh tires there at the lap 22 pit stop?
the first 3 or 4 or 5 laps on fresh tires is pretty hard to hold on to. So that's after I changed tires. It took 5, 6, 7 laps before I got comfortable again.
Well, hey, a great race all the way around, making that Camaro look nice and clean, backed by Flow Racing. Daryl, who do you want to give a shout to that helped you get up here into the podium spot for the first time this season?
Just all the guys in the OBRL. Thanks a lot for letting me join the league and the practices help and the encouragement. So I appreciate everybody's help.
Awesome. Good to have you up here for the first time. Hope to see you carry that momentum into the future, my friend.
Thanks a lot to you guys too.
Thank you, sir. That was Daryl Winninger picking up the third place spot. Up next, we're going to grab him. It's Mike Watts. Mike, you got a copy?
I do.
Mike, great race out there. I mean, what a rough night, I guess a roller coaster of a night for you from Hero up front, qualifying up front, the off-track excursion, the contact with Thompson, and the drive-through penalty, and then next thing you know, you're battling for the lead with 15 laps left to go. Did you think that was going to be a possibility after the opening few laps?
No, and I want to apologize to Steve. I don't know. I was driving over my head at that point because I had made a mistake on the opening lap and downshifted instead of upshifting. You know, that old third gear, you tend to push it forward in that corner, and well, that puts you in first now.
The old money shift. Yeah, we were wondering what the off track. We didn't see any contact, but yeah, wasn't sure why that thing broke loose. That makes a lot of sense. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not take tires in your early pit stop? I mean, it was around lap 20 or so, or 15, I think.
Yeah, I just took fuel.
So at Sonoma, I mean, how much were the tires really important to you? I mean, some of the drivers we were hearing, they were just the car was treacherous on cold, fresh sticker tires. Were you just happy knowing kind of going back out on track with a known variable instead of trying to squeeze down faster times?
Yeah, 10-4. It's you come out on cold tires. You know, it takes you like 2 laps to really get the car up to speed. So I just kept the hot tires on there. It was a little slick, you know, but I just kept pushing, and I just tried to get back to the front. I didn't know if that was going to happen or not, because those guys were pretty far in front of me at that point because I had served the penalty and everything. So
Well, Watts, despite having the a rough night, still a pretty solid night all the way around, able to bring back home a second after what looked like a race was over. So very well done. A lot of fun to watch you and Hess battling there. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped you get up here back in that second place spot?
just everybody that showed up today. OVRL puts on a really great show, and it's just good to have people come out and race with. And uh, other than me getting into Steve, everybody was like really, really respectful and stuff. And it was I thought it was a really good competitive race, and I enjoy racing with these guys.
So a lot of fun for us to watch up here in the booth as well for the fans at home. So good job out there, my friend. Looking forward to talking to you soon, and congratulations on a great race tonight.
Yep, Tim Ford, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Mike Watts, our runner-up, but now the man, the myth, the legend, Andrew Hess, the first win of the season for the 54, and arguably more important, back-to-back Sonoma wins. You've got to be ecstatic right now.
Oh yes, after the ups and downs this year has been, I was looking forward to coming to Sonoma.
So, Hess, you took 4 tires. We've heard a lot of drivers complain about how treacherous the car was when you get back out on track. Are you still pretty happy with your decision to take 4, or after looking at Watts, who opted to stay out in the one set the entire time, do you wish you switched it up a little bit?
I honestly had no idea that he kind of caught me off guard. So after he spun on that lap 1 deal, I was like, okay, he's back in traffic. I'll kind of pay attention when he starts coming back up through, because I know he was so fast. And then we did the pit stops and came out, and I didn't see him at first. And so I was like, okay, so it's going to be between me, Dwayne, Dan, and Daryl. And then I saw Dwayne make kind of a mistake there, and I was able to re-gap him. And I was like, okay, now I'm got enough space. I can just click off some laps. And next thing I know, I look in my mirror and I see a black car. And I was like, that can't be Dwayne. He's not back up here. And I looked at my relative, it was Watson. I was literally about to poop my pants.
Well, Hess, you've always done some, I'm going to call it interesting pit strategies we've seen in the past. Always willing to risk it, try something different, especially compared to your teammates. Did that come into effect here tonight with maybe a bit of an undercut, or what was the plan originally for your pit strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you follow me closely, I usually run long. So at the road courses, you kind of do everything backwards. So I went short.
Well, it seemed like it worked out well for you. A lot of fun. Looked like it was pretty tough for everybody to make clean passes, but the 54 machine proudly out front, on top for the second time in a row at Sonoma, and arguably most importantly, the first one of the season. I'm ecstatic. It was a lot of fun watching you, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout-out to?
I want to give a shout out to you for a hell of a broadcast. As always, you always give a lot of excitement to these things. My teammates that couldn't make it, Tom and Josh. I think Tom might be on a little vacation, and I'm not sure when Josh will come back if he can. But yeah,
Awesome.
It's kind of lonely without him.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I know Ogle for certain was in the spectator area cheering you on for the duration. So even though he's on vacation, he was here in White Claw spirit.
Hell yeah, I might even have one for him.
Attaboy, you've earned it. Congratulations, Andrew, and hope to see you back up front in the very near future.
Yes, thanks, James.
That was Andrew Hess, your race winner here for the Metro Ford Cup Series, bringing home the top spot. First win of the season, back-to-back wins. He won in 2021 at Sonoma, doing it again in 2022. An absolute fantastic run out of the 54. And a big shout out Michael Watts, Daryl Whittinger, rounding out the top 3. Great racing from everybody involved. As always, on behalf of Old Bastards Racing League, Metro Ford, Victor Lane Sports, Kimball.net, and Dr. Amy the Thyroid Fixer. My name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.